And our last summit presenter today, please welcome Shaun Moore, the CEO of Trueface.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shaun, the CEO of Trueface and one of the co-founders. Trueface is a computer vision company that teaches cameras to see like human beings. So the founding team's got about 28 years experience in computer vision. As of yesterday, we've got clients in now 13 countries. 2 patents have been granted for us and 3 more pending this year. So when we think about why is computer vision important to travel and aviation, these are some of the points that stand out to us. One is, it's obvious budgets are being cut and demand is rebounding very slowly. So it's important to drive demand back and to do more with less. So operators are forced to not have as many resources as they typically have. How can they make use of technology that's already in play to improve the processes that they're working on? And it's easier to implement proof of concepts or test technology when volume is low. So it's a very good time to test technology. And I think most important here is travelers need to feel confident that airlines and airports are taking precautions and responsibly reopening. So reassuring the people that it is safe to travel. So we focus on a few areas within computer vision. Facial recognition is something that I personally have been working on for 8 years now, and using the existing CCTV camera infrastructure to analyze the visual field. So object detection, we're looking at are bags left for too long in certain areas, are people swimming upstream, PPE compliance and elevated temperature checks, and then spatial analytics to understand how people are moving throughout a facility, where the choke points are, and where lines are starting to grow. So this is just an example of our facial recognition technology. On the left, you'll see there anonymized facial recognition, where we're looking for a specific individual in a crowd. On the right, you will see everyone's face auto-redacted with the exception of the individual on the right. On the left, you can think about this as opt-in for expedited screening or expedited entry. This is an example of our temperature and mass detection technology. So one of the core pieces to facial recognition is landmark extraction. So we can zero in on the inner canthus of the eye, extract the temperature, and provide that output. And then we're also looking at compliance. So is this individual wearing a mask or not? So some of the concerns that we're talking with stakeholders about, the airport operators, the airport police, and then third-party integrators. So the airport operators are very, very focused on driving people back into the airports, getting people comfortable and really just making people happy and excited to travel again. Airport police, it's identifying people of interest very quickly or incidences very quickly. And then third-party integrators are the groups that are already have the relationships with the airlines and the airports and are looking to bring in new technology and to do so more cost effectively and more efficiently. So I'm actually not going to talk about this slide here, but this is how we deploy technology. I'm going to talk about some of our relevant experience. So we were awarded our 3rd Air Force contract a few weeks ago in response to COVID for contactless access control. It's something that we're also looking at airports in the same vein. We're working with a Latin American hospitality group called Puerto Aventuras on access control for their employees, and recently a global gaming company on self-exclusion lists. So these 3 types of deployments for us, commercial deployments for us, translate into what we're working on with airports and airlines. Everything that we do is hosted by our clients, meaning that the data integrity and data privacy is upheld. The client holds the information. It never is sent back to Trueface servers. We never have access to it. So we can ensure that the data is being handled properly. We've got a top 10 score on NIST on genuine match speed. We can scan through the world's population in about 8 seconds, so 1 billion people per second. We really pride ourselves on the ethical collection of data and the rebalancing of bias. So it's a big concern with facial recognition. We've been working on reduction of bias now and ethical data collection for over 4 years. And we are platform agnostic. We can operate on any camera infrastructure. You can take our technology and port it to any existing CCTV infrastructure, any computer, any laptop, any phone. And something that's very important here is facial recognition does not mean that we're taking images and storing images. We can do it with a numerical representation of the face. I mean, we do not have to associate any personally identifiable information with that face template. So to bring things back together here, it's important that we recover first and then we rebuild for the future. We can use the existing hardware. So to do more with less, we can use those existing cameras with all this technology. We can quicken the response time to incidences. We can replace the physical security patrols with digital patrols. And I think most importantly here is we can drive the passenger experience. We can drive towards this biometric contactless journey Something that we're working on with agencies in the US is the future of travel, where an individual walks into an airport, they enter a pod, their checked baggage is scanned, their carry-on baggage is scanned, and their credentials are matched with their face, and they can move on. So really, really cool and unique processes. So I'll leave you all with this. It's really important that this technology is used responsibly, and only through the responsible use can we create a safer and smarter world for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shaun. Well done. Dragons, what do we think?
Holy shit, man. I don't know if I'm supposed to celebrate or protest here. How are consumers going to become aware that this technology, because I assume it's either yours or something like it, is being rolled out, and how are people going to feel about it? How do you think? By the way, I really appreciate you majoring on the ethical use of the data, but you can understand why I sort of think, boy, communication is so important here.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of this is already opt-in, and we're already seeing it for baggage drop, for boarding. I flew from LAX when you could, flew from LAX to London Heathrow on a 787, I believe it was a British Airways flight. And what typically takes 50 minutes to board a plane took 25 minutes to board a plane. And it was all entirely opt-in. So, I think we're seeing it. We've seen it with Customs and Border Patrol in the last few years, and that the last administration requiring 97% of any international travelers have their biometrics scanned to enter the country. So I think when we start with the opt-in and the access control component of it, or things like pre-TSA where you're getting some benefit, you've got expedited entry, we're definitely seeing a lot of adoption there. And the baggage claim or the baggage check is just another area where you don't have to interface with somebody. So, in a post-COVID world, it's really driving this your face is your credential to get through security, to drop your bag off and to board the plane. I think there is absolutely a concern around privacy. And the concern there is who has access to that data and where is that data going. So, I think it's important that there's transparency. There are industry organizations like SIA that are working on this. And so, we're aligning ourselves with all of those. We're aligning ourselves with federal regulation, with international regulation, but it is important that there is transparency around that data transfer.
Oh, and I see on your website, you're focused on lots of industries. So you feel like there's that travel will be a big part of your company's focus, or the applications provide pretty good solutions across all aspects of life?
No, we made a very conscious effort back in March, and part of that effort was going through the trade and travel program just recently here. So when we looked at the landscape for our current clients and what we could work on, we thought it was really important to align ourselves with people and organizations that really needed to get back to work and needed to get people back to their facilities. And hotels are struggling a ton. Airports, airlines are struggling a ton. So I do think it's a really big piece of our client portfolio here, and we are focusing a lot on tier 1, tier 2 airports, and how we can affect this process and to help them do more with less. So short answer is I think travel and aviation for us is a really critical piece to our growth.
Maybe I missed this, Shaun. What's your business model?
We charge a per camera license, annual license.
One of the challenges that big hotels have, cruise lines have, airlines too, is employee density. And can your technology help them monitor where there's big density of employees to try and help them eliminate that problem or reduce that problem?
Yeah, we can. So that's part of the visual analytics tools and the visual density mapping tools. So yes, that works on existing cameras. And for employee access, that Puerto Aventuras, that's a camera placed at an access control point, so an ingress point where we're looking at license plates on cars as well as faces for entry.
Great. Thank you very much, Shaun. Well done.